Daniel chapter 11, a very interesting chapter, part of Daniel's vision, which started in chapter 10. Now, before I start on this is slightly controversial. And you know me, I avoid controversial stuff. There are three theories about this chapter, as like the other visions. One is that it's all past. It already took place, back at the time of Alexander the Great and these guys. Second theory is it's future, coming with the end times. And third is it's both. I am pretty strongly in the category of it's both. There certainly was a fulfillment. Now, when Daniel was given this vision and told people, this was about 300 years before it happened. So it's still pretty amazing. If somebody back in 1780 had prophesied that Donald Trump would be president, that would be pretty cool. He's going to tell about the future. To him, it was 300 years in the future. But I think it does have a secondary meaning. Let's get into that. Also, in the first year of Darius the Mede, remember he's back and forth in these visions, sometimes in Babylon, sometimes in Iraq, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. So the Medes and the Persians, today this is the country of Iran, they had united, conquered Babylon, and wiped out a bunch of folks, and took over really all the way to Egypt, all the way to Turkey, and across the Bosporus Straits, Dardanelles, Bosporus, I think it's both. Anyway, I just lost interest. But they conquered quite a bit of land. And the goal of conquering anybody's land is to do what? Get their money. Yeah. It goes back to Adam and Eve. God said, Adam, you sinned, but you got to work for a living now. And ever since that curse where you got to work for a living, everybody's tried to get out of that by getting somebody else to do their work. Ever since that day, it's been happening, isn't it? You either wait till they work for it and buy it and then you go steal it, or you just get them to work for slaves or force them into slavery. It's just all kinds of ways to get somebody else to do your work because they don't want to, by the sweat of your brow, you're going to do your own work. He conquered people, took away their money. Okay, but now I will show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. Can you imagine a guy making a prophecy like this? There are going to be 3 kings, and then the 4th one's going to be richer than all of them. How could you possibly know such a thing way before it happened? God told him. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. And we now know that the Persians got excited about, hey, let's go attack Greece. And they went over there and attacked Greece and got their tail kicked. And there's a lot of interesting history about that. They got whooped bad. Okay? This is from Matthew Henry's commentaries. If you want to get more information on any of the Bible verses, Matthew Henry's commentaries, written in 1706 or something like that, early 1700s. He has commentaries on every verse of the Bible. I think we've got all 6 volumes in here somewhere. But then I'm up there, maybe at the top, the really old beat-up books. I don't know. But I've had them or have had them. Anyway, they might still be packed. Half my books are still packed. Matthew Henry's commentary, he said, there shall stand up 3 kings in Persia besides Darius, in whose reign this prophecy is dated. Mr. Broughton makes these 3 to be Cyrus, Artaxasta, and Artaxerxes, called by the Greeks Cambyses, however you pronounce that, and Ahasuerus that married Esther. When you read the book of Esther, you read about the king of Persia. This is the Ahasuerus guy. Also Darius, the son of his dad, however you pronounce that. Okay. To these 3, the Persians gave these attributes. Cyrus was a father, Cambyses a master, and Darius a hoarder up, greedy, gathered stuff together. So Herodias, this is straight from copied it from I don't know why it's a 2-word sentence. There shall be a 4th far richer than they all, that is Xerxes, of whose wealth the Greek authors take notice. So the Greeks said, wow, this guy's noticing all the money we got, I bet he's going to come attack us, and they got ready, and they did get attacked and got whooped. By his strength, his vast army consisting of 800,000 men at least, and his riches with which he maintained and paid that vast army, he stirred up all against the realm of Greece. See, anytime you build something gigantic like an army like this, you now have to feed them. And so you got to conquer all the neighbors to take away their stuff because you can't afford to feed them on your own. That's the thing with some ministries, some churches. They get all excited and build a gigantic building and spend $5 million on this building, and now they built an elephant, and now they got to feed the thing for the rest of their life. That's why I try to be very careful here. Don't go in debt. If God doesn't supply, don't move. And I think we only owe one debt of $5,000 or $6,000 for the one, I forget, the bunkhouse 2. We ordered 2, and then something fell through and couldn't ever pay it off. But we're working on that. So that's the only debt we have. So ask Ernie about that. But I don't want to do that. I'm thrilled for these ministries that build these huge, fancy, expensive places, but that's not me. If you're going to come help me, we're going to just go as we can, and when we don't have the money, we don't do it. That's why we don't have the driveway blacktopped, and why we don't have a lot of things done, because it takes a lot of money. We will someday, but until then, we're just going to go slow. So he had this giant army, and now he's got to feed them. This happens to so many young couples get married. They're all excited, and they go out and buy 2 brand new cars, don't they? And then they argue and fight for the next 15 years with their husband or wife because they can't afford to go buy groceries because they got the stupid car payment. Plus, now that you got the brand new car, you got to have full coverage insurance. I've always had old beat up cars and just the minimum insurance. If you want to buy a new car, that's great. My dad would say, you never look at a car and say, I can afford the payments. Never do that. The question is, can you afford the car? Just buy the car. Bought my first car for $300, Volkswagen. Donald rode back and forth to school with me all the time from East Peoria. Donald was a paper boy, threw papers. We were close friends, Donald. He had, I think, 9 or 10 brothers and sisters. His mother was deaf. So I don't know if that ties into anything or not, but it was going to be, he was the oldest of all these, whole house full of kids. We had a great time. But Donald was driving back and forth to school one day. He said, Brother Hovind, would you like to sell me your Volkswagen? I said, well, I guess, sure, it's my first car. He said, I'll give you $600 for it. I said, well, let me pray about it. He said, yes, and got it for $300, sold it for $600. I thought, wow, this will work. I've had 135 cars, I think, somewhere in there. When my kids turned, 13, 14, and started to get interested, I pulled out my list of all my cars, what I paid for it, and what I bought it, what I sold it for. Over like 30-year period, I had made $15,000. Now, I'm not a used car salesman, but I would buy a car, fix it up, wash it, wax it, if something rattles, fix it. And somebody'd say, I'd like to buy it off you. Okay. Now, $15,000 over 30 years is, $500 a year is no big deal. But it beats having a car payment of $500 a month for 15 years. Duh. So anytime you build an elephant, you now have to feed it. So that was the problem here. He built this gigantic army, and now you got to go conquer your neighbors and steal their stuff so you can pay for that. Don't do that. Don't go in debt. If you can't afford the big fancy house, don't buy the big fancy house. I've built 9 times. Built my own house. Built my first house, $24,000. Sold it for $59,000. I said, whoa, this will work. Let's do that again. And built one again. And you can build, just don't go in debt is the thing. Okay, you know how it is, Kevin. How many houses have you built?
Oh, probably 4.
4? Housing is your most expensive need of any family, better than a car. But housing and cars, you just want to get, what do you actually need? That great big huge house that you want. Now you got to air condition the dumb thing, right?
And clean it.
And clean it, yeah. Just build the minimum. Okay, anyway, so he stirred up his army. Now the Persian rulers, there were quite a few of them. Some only ruled for a short time. This guy ruled for 0.0583 years. Couple of weeks, maybe, or a couple of days. Somebody shot him or something. But they had this guy 0.06 years. So some of them, they don't hardly count. He's a ruler and bang, gets assassinated or something. But a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the 4 winds, and not to his posterity. We now know this was talking about Alexander the Great. Conquered the known world, 30 years of age, and died. And his 4 generals divided up his kingdom. So it didn't go to he didn't have any posterity, he didn't have any children. So Alexander's kingdom broke up, and you had the Egyptian part, what to say is Turkey, the Babylonian Iraq part. This king of the south shall be strong. This would be Egypt. And one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. And we now know that the king of the south is Ptolemy. And I don't want to bore you with a long history lesson. I don't get excited about that stuff either, so I don't know. I can look it up if I care, and I don't care. So this part of it's past. But this same region around Israel is going to play into the end times. You keep an eye on that. It's going to be Turkey, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Egypt come together. I think there's going to be 10 countries in that region come together to fight against Israel for the final battle, the Battle of Armageddon on the chart there. Okay, so Ptolemy reckoned to be Egypt. Anyway, you can study your own. And in the end of years, they shall join themselves together. For the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. But she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand, nor his arm, but she shall be given up. And they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times. But out of a branch of her roots, that is typically a Bible term for one of her children or grandchildren or nephews or nieces, shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail, and shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their princes, with their precious vessels of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So keep in mind, all of this is being told in advance of when it happens. This is because God is not limited by time. We are. God has already been to your funeral. Think about that.
He's there right now.
He's there right now, yeah. I'm stuck in time, and there have been many times I wished I wasn't. Many times I wished I could go back just 1 or 2 seconds and undo that. Boy, that was dumb. What did I do that for? Don't push that button, okay? Man, if you can survive growing up, you get to be an adult. Yeah. Anyway, so the king of the south shall come into his kingdom and shall return into his own land, but his son shall be stirred up and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved with choler, that's anger, and shall come forth and fight with him, even with the king of the north, and he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand. So they're going to lose the war. And when he had taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s. See, it's hard for us to comprehend, but the ancient battles where they're all fighting with swords and bows and arrows, I mean, that was all in-your-face kind of fighting. Today, it's most of the fighting is done, 100 miles away. Boom, with a jet fighter or something like that. There's not near as much in-your-face, jab this sword in their ribs kind of stuff. But they would have 80,000 people die in one battle. America had 400,000 die in the entire war, World War II. The whole Vietnam War went on for 10 years. 50,000 Americans died. They'd lose that in one battle back in the old days, some of these battles. For the king of the north shall return and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. And in those times there shall stand up against the king of the south also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves. Now he's telling Daniel now, the robbers of your people. Somebody's going to rob Israel. To establish the vision, but they shall fall. So the king of the north shall come and cast up a mount and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will. This is a little bit boring history, I know. Let me just read through this, okay? And none shall stand before him. And he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her. We now know that is Cleopatra, if you study that part of history. But she shall not stand on his side, neither before him. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, and he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes, in the glory of the kingdom. but within a few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. And we now know, Matthew Henry's commentary on that, he said, there rose up one in his place, a raiser of taxes, a sender forth of extortioner or extorter. This character was remarkably answered in Seleucus Philopater, the elder son of Antiochus the Great, who was a great oppressor of his own subjects, and exacted abundance of money from them, raised the taxes. What was that cartoon movie Disney did? Robin Hood, raise the taxes, yeah. And when he was told he would thereby lose his friends, he said he knew no better friend he had than money. He likewise attempted to rob the temple at Jerusalem, which this seems especially to refer to. But within a few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle, but poisoned by Heliodorus, one of his own servants. You know, people get tired after a while. When you start taking all their stuff and start taxing them half to death, they get tired. They do something like this, like throw the tea of the harbor and start a big war. Okay, back to Daniel. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. This is exactly what the Antichrist is going to do in the future, according to Revelation. He's going to obtain a kingdom by flatteries. He's got a bow, but no arrows. I come in peace, I come in peace. Antichrist is going to do that. You watch in Revelation. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey. So he's going to do what his dad and grandparents did not do. When he does get a bunch of money, he's going to give it to his people. This is new. And the spoil, he's going to divide the spoil rather than hoard it for himself. And riches, yea, he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army. And the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. And again, there are pages and pages of commentary on all of this on Matthew Henry's. And I thought, this Bible study is going to take 4 days if I do all that. So just read it for yourself, okay? Yea, they that feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table. Do you think that ever happens today when politicians get together? Speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return unto his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant. It's one thing to go fight, all your enemies and beat them up and take their stuff, but he decides he's going to go against God's people. Always a dangerous thing to do. Even if you're capable of beating them, always a dangerous thing to do. Just leave God's people alone. And he shall do exploits and return to his own land. At the time appointed he shall return and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former or as the latter. For the ships of Chittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved, and return, and have indignation against the holy covenant. And so shall he shall even return, and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. You should read the comments on this. Please, I won't take the time to do it, but just go to Matthew Henry commentary, Google it. His arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice. Oh, now hold it. This is exactly what the Antichrist is going to do in the future. There's going to be an abomination that maketh desolate. This did happen with Antiochus Epiphanes in 364 BC, or something like that. It's going to happen again. This has a dual fulfillment. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries, but the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. We're coming upon a time of tribulation where this world's going to see things that it's never seen before. It's going to get really tough. And it's going to really separate the men from the boys and the wheat from the chaff. But God, even in this coming time of tribulation, some of God's people are going to stand up, and we'll see that in next chapter, chapter 12. I have prayed hundreds of times, Lord, I want to be one of those. Lord, hold me together. Just like Herbie the Love Bug, that first movie they made, just make it across the finish line, wire this thing together, baling wire, do something. Remember they got first and third place in that movie, the car broke in half. That was hilarious. I've been praying, Lord, just hold me together. I want to get across the finish line. Lord, I want to finish well. And sometimes finishing well for a Christian is letting them kill you for your faith and not abandoning your faith. That's been the history of the world. Anyway, those that know their God are going to be strong and do exploits, and they that understand among the people shall instruct many. That's been my prayer for a long time too. Lord, help me to understand, even though if you do understand, you might be scared. And then I want to instruct many. I want to teach. I want to make it simple where everybody gets it. Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days. Now when they shall fall, they shall be holpen with a little help. This is an old English phrase, holpen, or help. We would say helped. Same thing, past tense of help, okay? Somebody called me today. We talked about it. They said the average person on the street in King James Bible time, Shakespeare's time, 1600s, had a working vocabulary of about 40,000 words. They knew the meaning of it. Today, the average person on the street has a working vocabulary of about 4,000 words. Listen to teenagers talk to each other sometime. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's rad. Oh, yeah, cool, man. Well, you know what I'm talking about? They only know about 5 words, and half of them are cuss words. Okay. But they shall cleave, many shall cleave to them with flatteries, and some of them, of understanding, shall fall to try them. That's why I don't want anybody to look to Kent Hovind as the pillar and rock. What if I fall? What if I go off into sin? I'm capable of that like everybody else. You got to stand on your own 2 feet. I mean, I'm going to try not to, but it does happen. Remember when Jimmy Swaggart fell, or Jim Baker? They're publishing a new magazine together. Did you hear about that? No. They don't know if they should call it Repent House or Pray Boy. Never mind. But the people can fall. You can go off into sin and make a bad mistake. King David did. And God used him anyway. So don't look to a person as your strength. Look to Jesus Christ as your source, okay? To purge and to make them white even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods. This is what Antichrist is going to do. This is what Satan did in the Garden of Eden. Hey, did God tell you not to eat that? Listen, God's hiding something from you. Listen to me, Eve. Don't listen to God. This has been his trouble for 6,000 years. He's going to do it again in the end times. Listen to me. Don't listen to God. Listen to me. That's what Satan's going to say. And shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate he shall honor the God of forces. There are people like that today. The only thing that's important to them is who's got the biggest gun, or who's got the most ammunition, the biggest army. And a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. A couple more verses and we'll quit here. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, and with chariots and horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. And he shall also enter into the glorious land, that would be Israel, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom, Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon. And he shall stretch forth his hand also unto the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold, of silver, and over the precious things of Egypt. The Libyans, Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. So there's Daniel getting this prophecy, writing all this down. I'm sure the king and his people are looking at that and said, we just got the history of our world told to us in advance. Then they did. For the next 300 years, all these things happened, exactly as prophesied here. Now we can look back on, this is why the skeptics look at Daniel and say it had to be written later than that. There's no way they could know these things. No, this was written by Daniel in about 530, 580 BC, before Christ. Plenty of evidence for that. So the people look for anything, though, to reject the Bible. They just don't want that book to be true. Just get rid of that book. They would accept the idea they came from a rock. They have lost their marbles and believe they came from a rock, but won't accept that a book could be written by God who knows the future. He's also written about the future for us today. It is 2018. God already knows what's going to happen all year, all next year, all the next year. He already knows. That's why over and over in the Bible he says, hey, fear not, fear not, fear not. I got it under control. Relax. Stay right in the middle of my will. He might preserve you through the lion's den, or he might let the lions eat you. How many Christians have been eaten by lions over the years? Read Fox's Book of Martyrs. I don't know what he's going to want. I know the final kingdom's going to be partly strong and partly broken. I said, Lord, I want to be someplace where it's broken. I think he gave us Lenox, Alabama as an answer to that prayer. We shall see. But we want to be strong and do exploits and win souls. That's the goal, to teach others to be ready for what's coming. Everybody's busy playing with trinkets and toys. They're not getting ready for what's coming.